So at Castle Valley, we use our past military experience and also our experience of operating in the private security industry in hostile environments in Africa and the Middle East, etc. And what we've noticed over the last few years is that a lot of the tactics used in these places by terrorists are being brought back into Europe, into the UK and into America.
So far we've gone through situational awareness, we've gone through running, and we've gone through hiding. This week we're going to look at fighting. You've got no option, so Russ is going to take us through some points on that. Keep watching. As with any form of self-defense or personal security, especially with personal safety, situational awareness is really important. So how would you say personal safety in terms of situational awareness applies to an active shooting event?
Primarily, as you said, to really understand what is around you that you can hide behind, what cover you can use to assist yourself if you, in the unlikely event, are involved in an attack. How can you get away from that attack using as much cover as possible? And that's either cover from view or it's cover from gunfire. Yeah. So we often have our head down in our phones. We're not really looking around, checking out where the fire exit signs are, looking at large structures, whether that's a concrete structure, a large truck or van that we can hide behind should something happen. When you're involved in an attack of whatever kind, you tend to really focus and only remember basic things. So it's very key to keep your eyes open, keep listening out to what's happening. We use a term called the ADA loop, which is, in short, assess, decide and act, and it's a continual loop so that people, when they're in a situation, when they're concerned, when they're frightened, they remember they've got to continually assess the situation. So as an example, when an active shooter or a terrorist has a stoppage, and what we're going to be using today is this deactivated AK-74. Right. When these weapons have stoppages, and we'll go into a bit more detail about those later, it gives someone who is hiding or running extra time to be able to change position into a better position of cover or to be able to run out of the line of fire. So it's key to continually assess, decide and then act on what you're going to do, and it's a loop because you've always got to do it. Once you've hidden once, that's not good enough. You've got to think about hiding a second time, moving from that place of cover.
Yeah. So far we spoke about running and hiding, but sometimes you might be in a building, for example. So you need to barricade yourself in a room, and obviously the standard advice is to get into the room. So what would you add or give to the viewers here? What's the procedure? What would you advise them to do?
Quick and simple. You've got to get in, shut the door, lock it if you can, switch the lights off. If you can't switch the lights off, just smash the lights. You've got to make it dark just to give you more and more time. If you can get hold of something like a bin or a locker, push that against the door, that will just make it more difficult for the terrorists or the shooter to get through. Hopefully he'll therefore give up on coming through to try and find you and move off or be dealt with by the security service.
Okay, in reality, if you do have to fight and defend yourself, keep it as simple as possible. It's a high stress situation, and the last thing you want is something technical in doing that. So Russ, how would you say that we'll deal with the gunman when he comes through?
Okay, so we've spoken about the cover from view, cover from fire. Now we're assuming the terrorist or the shooter, i.e. me in this instance, has actually broken through. So what's important, if you're standing over there, what you notice is that the majority, if not all, shooters will hold the rifle, as we discussed before, in their right shoulder, because the opening of where the rounds come out is on the right hand side of the weapon as the casings come out. So what that means is weapons up in the right shoulder normally, or if it's down by the hip, it's still normally on the right hand side. Therefore, the guys have gone to the right hand side of the door, which gives them extra time to be able to fight back if they've got no other option. So as I'm coming through as a terrorist, you're an easy target because you're right in front of me. You don't want to be that. These guys are harder, and actually gives them more time, because in order for me to shoot them in such an enclosed space, I've physically got to move around to do so. Yeah. If they were on the left-hand side, it would be much easier. I wouldn't have to move my feet. It's just point and shoot. So not only do you want cover from view and fire, but you also want to be hiding in the right place according to what the shooter or the terrorist is going to be doing with that weapon.
So generally, as a rule of thumb, try to be on the right side of the door.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, so as the shooter comes through, weapon in his right shoulder, as we've said, just freeze frame there. I would be, these potential victims, if I was one of them, I'd be feeling very confident right now because of the position they've put themselves in. they are now in a position to regain the initiative. So in slow time, if you come up, all they're going to do is push the weapon against the terrorist's body, against the shooter's body. They're now in control.
And from this position, I mean, most people that are aware of handling weapons would know that the muzzle of the weapon was going to be quite hot, but that is a chance that you have to take. I mean, in this case, it's your life. You're going to try to get the weapon down and obviously crush and expose the space. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video has been of some help to you.